Okay. And speaking of courts, page 8 of the Standard newspaper this morning, Obado to remain a guest of the state for another 12 days. Bichachi, let me just get your thoughts on this in regards to, this is the criminal division that Lady Justice Jessie Lesit is on. She's not granted Governor Obado any bail in regards to that. Imagine if the anti-corruption division in Kenya worked the same way the criminal division, especially to be specific, Lady Justice Jessie Lesit has handled this specific scenario. How much further we would be as a nation when it comes to what we say taming the dragon of corruption?
There are two things that are involved, and as a nation we need to be careful that the presumption of innocence until proven guilty still stands. So let's not consider the remanding of Governor Obado to be the justice dispensing a sentencing before the time is done. However, what is critical for Kenyans to know is she's critically preventing the governor from being able to tamper with evidence and witnesses were he on the outside. Now, the reason why this is important is his power, and indeed the power of many governors, is quite extensive within their counties. And therefore, you can imagine that it should not be something that we take lightly, that someone who's accused of corruption is allowed to walk the streets of Nairobi, because we need to protect the witnesses, we need to protect the credibility of the evidence that we've gotten, because we know very well that if he can have access to the witnesses, a witness can be bribed, a witness can be threatened to pull away from a case. And we know from the story that we've read that if indeed Obado did commit this murder, then he has extensive networks and extensive power to be able to exercise his power.
All right.
Of witnesses. So that's one. But two, what is also very important is we need to make it very clear to the nation that Obado is being retained not as a punishment, but he's being retained as a process of our judicial system. And that is a very important classification.
Well, others would argue, Honorable Mutambo, that, for example, especially for Obado, he has no specific standing, whether it's with the big players, whether he is Jubilee or whether he is ODM, in which some critics would even call him a political orphan child. There's no one who is coming to his rescue the way we saw with the DCJ. There's no one who is coming to his rescue with that sort of magnitude, the way they also handled Governor Ojamang. Would you say this is the price that perhaps independent politicians or people who do not either side with NASA or Jubilee have to go for?
I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, it's how you relate with the people. If you are friends with lawyers, they will flock in the court to defend you. That's one thing I would say. I don't think CJ was a Jubilee or NASA. It was not a case of Jubilee or NASA, although there was some clearing, some indication that all NASA lawyers were there. But I would not term it as NASA affairs versus Jubilee. For Obado, yes, is an independent candidate. We need to understand that Obado was swimming at a very deep end where Baba dominates, and he floored him actually twice. You can remember last election, he stood with a very unknown party, and he won against the move of ODM, which was very popular. And so I would say people of where he comes from, they may like him so much. What I do not understand is what happened to the lawyers. Why did they flock to court to defend him?
One moment.
It's not the question of Jubilee and NASA. It does not play.
On the same note, another critics would suggest that perhaps now this is a witch hunt when it comes to Obado, because we're seeing, yes, he's come to court based on criminal charges, but then other charges such as corruption started to come up. So why are these corruption charges coming up now when he is already arraigned in court for murder? Why do we not hear of these corruption charges way before?
What I'm reading is that, I mean, these corruption charges were still ongoing. It's quite unfortunate for him. They caught him somewhere in the middle of the road. You can imagine, we were reading on the newspapers that he was caught trying to transfer 2 billion shillings. Why would you want to transfer 2 billion shillings to your son somewhere? And he did not come out and say, no, this is not correct. So if it gets you somewhere along the way, then it's too bad.
Right. Yes. And Bichachi, suppose, right? Suppose, keyword suppose, he's given a life sentence. What would then happen to those corruption charges?
Let's go back a bit, because we need to set a few things straight. When lawyers flocked to support the DCJ, let's be very clear, that was a dark moment in Kenyan history. Because, number one, this is the Deputy Chief Justice. If there's anything she should be confident in, is her judicial system. She should have the most confidence that if she's innocent, you do not need 44 lawyers, okay? She would have been represented normally like any other normal Kenyan. And two, it is therefore wrong to expect that now if today Mark Bichachi is caught in a criminal activity, because we've been on a show with Mheshimiwa here, he should show up saying, free me. No, no, no. He should show up asking, is this guy guilty or innocent? Therefore, the expectation that either ODM or Jubilee or whichever small party was involved in should be involved in a criminal matter does not hold water. This idea that every time when someone is arrested we need to send a politician there is nonsensical. A politician's job is in parliament. So let's be represented by lawyers. Let's go the full course of the law. Now, over to Obado. If your child steals sugar at 8 a.m. and 8:30 slaps the sister, and at 8:45 insults the mother, do you then say that there is a witch hunt against your baby? Of course not. Because the reality of the matter, if you transferred 2 billion shillings while at the same time you are allegedly fixing a murder, why should we pick and choose? We should not pick and choose, because, listen, this country, I don't understand why people say they're being witch hunted when there's evidence to show you did what you did. A witch hunt only exists if there's no evidence, and we're arresting you saying you stole newspapers from the Standard and there's no evidence. For as long as there's evidence, that is due process of the law. Now, to answer your question, what will happen if he's sentenced for life and he's still sentenced with corruption? Then he will run concurrent sentences. That's what happens.
Gentlemen, let's move forward. Page 10, we have Melania Trump, who is expected to visit the African continent for the first time. Of course, Ghana, Malawi, Kenya, and a few other countries are on that list. Honorable Mutambo, let me begin with you. This is her first trip alone on the African continent. She's coming for her initiatives. There's also rumor that Prince William could be around this weekend as well. Perhaps your thoughts on this two diplomatic visits, not only in Kenya, but more so on the African continent, even as President Uhuru Kenyatta just, gave his speech at UNGA.
Somebody said, you never know what you have till you lose it. I think Kenyans, we don't know what we have till we lose this country. We have a very beautiful country, which everybody adores across the world. And it's good to recognize that our country stands at the center of Africa, and the kind of attraction we create. So for Prince to come to Kenya, not because he's coming to help Kenyans, but he's coming because Kenya is a good country. That's one point we need to understand.
And Melania Trump?
So Melania Trump, the same. There are so many other countries in Africa which she could have chosen. But would you go to Somalia? Hell no. Would you go to South Sudan? No. So we need to understand the value of our country. And I get agitated when I see how much we are trying to destroy our country politically.
All right, Bichachi, please keep yours short as we are about to go on break.
No, I think first it can't be a diplomatic visit. She doesn't have the powers to do diplomacy, but it's a very good PR visit opportunity for Kenya. It's a very excellent positioning opportunity for Kenya. So what I hope is that not that Melania visits Kenya, is that whoever is in charge of Brand Kenya wakes up and realizes he has a job to do. That is my hope, because when we won the Berlin Marathon, Brand Kenya was missing. So I hope that in this opportunity, they will see an opportunity to brand our nation as the destination of choice. They should be asking people the question, if the First Lady of the United States of America can come to Kenya, then everyone else should come.
Well, regardless, we didn't see this with Michelle Obama. Even when Obama himself came 2 times now, recently, Michelle Obama did come, and Michelle Obama has been more active as a first lady, more than Melania Trump, who has taken a back seat.
I don't want to go into details why she did not come. Maybe she had her own reasons. But to me, I think she snapped Kenya. I would say that. I would say Michelle Obama snapped Kenya for reasons better known to her.
All right. Now, that has been press review. Grab a copy of your local dailies, The Standard, as well as the Daily Nation and any others. Of course, later on Hot Topics, we'll take a look at the Pulse as well as the Nairobi. But right now, let's take a quick commercial break and pay a few bills. We'll be right back.